Hi, and welcome to Snowboard Instructor Tool. Today, we're going to have a look at the three first sections of the motion analysis training: your students, the conditions, and your observations. Those three sections are the analysis parts of the training. You need to take them into consideration in order to plan your lessons. While planning a lesson, there are several factors that come from your students that you should take into consideration. If you are aware of those factors by observing or asking your students, then you will be able to give to your students an outstanding lesson. The first and most important factor to take into consideration is your student goal. It will give you a general direction toward which your lesson should go. You usually would ask your students what is their goal on the snowboarding. It could be manageable in a lesson, or it might require to take several lessons to achieve it. Some example of goals a student would give would be: I want to improve my riding, I want to learn freestyle, I want to ride expert terrain. Another factor to take into consideration for your students is their physical state. Is your student fit? Is it not fit? Did he have past injury? All this will affect your lesson plan a lot. Experience with other sports from your students can help you a lot make your lesson effective. You can use a lot of analogies to help them understand what the movement you're looking to do with them. You usually gather that information either by observing your students or by asking them questions like, do you play other sports? And finally, another factor that is important to understand from your students is their psychological state, so their mind. How does your student feel? Is he scared, keen, cautious? This is important to be able to gather from your students, as it will define how you can push your students and what kind of exercise you should use. You may be able to find it out by having your student tell you directly, but most of the time you will find it out by observing the body language of your students while they're riding. The gender and the age group of your students will affect their physical and psychological state, and it's a very important factors to also consider while planning your lesson. The second section of the analysis is about the condition that may affect your student performance or determine which kind of exercise you can do. One of the conditions is about the terrain, the pitch of the slope, the snow condition, the number of people on the piste. The weather will highly affect how your student will ride, and it is information you have to take into consideration during an exercise. The other factor we have to take into consideration is the equipment conditions. This affects a lot the performance of your students. Is the stance too wide or narrow? Has the toes flat from the edge and the heel poking out of the board by several centimeters? Has the boot loose? Is the board too big or too small? The equipment and the way it is set up will greatly affect what your student is doing and what their limits are. The last section of the analysis is your observation of the student riding. This can very differ depending on your certification. It could be a skill-based observation like CASI and APSI. It could be a movement-based observation like New Zealand certification. For freestyle, it could be the approach, takeoff, maneuver, landing observation. It is not about finding what's good or what should be changed in your student riding. It's about just writing the observation on his riding. Then you can analyze the observation. For example, your student could be on his back foot, but if you take into consideration a groomer, it might not be good. If you take into consideration 30-50 centimeters of fresh snow, then it might not be that bad. This is the analysis part of the motion analysis. You usually will fill up those sections while you see the student riding, while the video is playing. This is why I play the video a couple of times. The next video I will make will be about the lesson plan part, so the instructor goal and the exercise. So don't forget to subscribe. Also, feel free to add your 2 cents in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.